The Secret Ingredient Challenge, turning ordinary meals into magic. In the heart of bustling London, Emily Adu, a Ghanaian chef, wrestled with the challenges of working in one of the city's most competitive restaurants. Every day was a whirlwind of orders, sharp criticisms, and moments of self-doubt. But Emily's passion for food, rooted in the flavors of her homeland, kept her grounded, even when the odds seemed stacked against her. One day, Chef Julian, the restaurant owner, announced a grand opportunity. "Our restaurant has been invited to the Secret Ingredient Challenge," he said, his voice echoing in the kitchen. "The winner gets a feature in Gastronome Monthly, a chance to showcase their skills on a global stage." Emily's heart leaped. This was her moment. Yet David Harrison, a cocky sous chef known for his flair and arrogance, scoffed. "This competition is mine," he said, flashing a confident grin. But Emily, determined to prove herself, spoke up. "I want to compete," she said, her voice steady despite the nervous flutter in her chest. Chef Julian nodded. "Fine," he said. "Both of you prepare a dish by the end of the week. The best dish will represent us." The following days were a blur of preparation. David worked with precision and speed, crafting a complex dish with an air of smug superiority. Meanwhile, Emily struggled. Every idea felt uninspired, every ingredient mundane. She longed to incorporate the flavors of her childhood: jollof rice, kelaweel, and groundnut soup, but feared they wouldn't impress the judges. One evening, as she wandered through a quiet market, a peculiar vendor caught her eye. His stall was modest, adorned with jars of vibrant spices. "You look lost," he said, his voice warm yet mysterious. Emily hesitated. "I'm just looking," she replied. The vendor smiled knowingly. "Perhaps you need something extraordinary," he said, holding out a small pouch. "This is no ordinary spice. It's said to bring out the true essence of a dish. But beware, it requires a heart true to its craft." Intrigued, Emily bought the pouch. Skeptical but desperate, she decided to try it in her dish. Back in the kitchen, she sprinkled a pinch of the spice into her stew. Immediately, an aromatic wave filled the room, evoking memories of her mother stirring pots of soup on a coal stove, of family gatherings filled with laughter, and of the first time she dreamed of becoming a chef. It was as if the spice unlocked a part of her soul she'd forgotten. When the day of the internal challenge arrived, tension filled the air. David presented his dish, a modern twist on a classic risotto. Plated to perfection, the judges, including Chef Julian, nodded in approval but didn't seem moved. Emily, on the other hand, presented her groundnut soup with yam dumplings, its simple appearance belied by its mesmerizing aroma. As Chef Julian tasted her dish, his eyes widened. "This isn't just food, it's an experience," he said. "Emily, you'll represent us at the Secret Ingredient Challenge." David's face darkened, jealousy flickering in his eyes. "This isn't over," he muttered under his breath. The competition day arrived with all the pomp and pressure one might expect. Chefs from around the country showcased their talents, creating intricate and awe-inspiring dishes. Emily felt out of place, her humble groundnut soup seeming far too simple against the extravagance around her. But when it was her turn, the moment her dish touched the judges' tongues, their expressions softened. One judge leaned back, closing his eyes as if transported. "This dish, it tells a story," he murmured. The applause that followed was deafening. Emily had won. But her victory was overshadowed by an unsettling series of events back at the restaurant. Ingredients went missing, equipment malfunctioned, and her colleagues whispered about sabotage. Emily began to suspect David, especially after overhearing him on a phone call saying, "The plan's in motion." Confronting him one evening, she asked, "What are you doing, David?" He smirked. "You think you're better than me now? You're not. Your so-called magic spice won't save you forever." Emily's heart raced. How did he know about the spice? Determined to uncover the truth, she returned to the market to find the vendor. To her dismay, his stall was nowhere to be found. Feeling lost, she spent hours wandering the market. Finally, just as she was about to leave, she heard a familiar voice, still searching. She turned to see the vendor standing under the dim light of a lamppost. "I told you the spice reveals truth," he said, "but truth often comes with a cost." Emily explained her predicament. The vendor handed her a small vial. "This will amplify what's within," he said cryptically. Use it wisely. At the restaurant's next big event, Emily prepared her groundnut soup, adding the contents of the vial. When the dish was served, a strange glow surrounded it. Guests gasped in awe, but the moment David touched the pot, he recoiled as though burned. A hush fell over the room as whispers filled the air. Chef Julian stepped forward. David, explain yourself. I just wanted what she had, David stammered, guilt evident in his voice. You wanted her passion and authenticity, Chef Julian said, but those can't be stolen. David was dismissed from the restaurant, leaving Emily to reflect on the lessons learned. As she cleaned up that night, she found another note in her pocket. The magic was never in the spice. It was always in you. Smiling, Emily knew her journey was far from over. New challenges awaited, but she was ready, with heart, talent, and a sprinkle of magic.